Outside Nigeria now, it looks like the UK may be getting it right with its COVID-19 response as the country appears to be cruising into the Christmas holiday with cases expected to stay fairly flat, while other European countries like Germany, Netherlands, Slovakia, Czech Republic are reporting all-time highs. In fact, Europe is once again the epicenter of the pandemic with 60% of the world's cases and deaths recorded there. Well, the WHO DG has warned against a false sense of security, and it may come across as though that message is for the UK. But what are we really looking at here? Channels TV correspondent in London, Juliana Olayinka, joins us now for more insight into this. Juliana, it's great to see you. It appears as though the UK is looking like it's shielded from this recent spike we're seeing across Europe. Might be a good time to copy notes. So tell us, how is this happening?
Good evening, Kaide. Well, it's an interesting way to put it, but I've got to make it clear that we're not out of the woods just yet. Yes, to go back and give it some context, as you were saying, Europe is now once again the epicenter of COVID-19. Of course, the World Health Organization was speaking a couple of hours ago, talking about the fact that, yes, 60% of global deaths last week were in Western Europe. Most of the cases that we are seeing are taking place in some parts of Western Europe. As you will remember, Britain was the first country in the world to roll out the vaccine. There was a huge spat at the beginning of the year between the European Union and AstraZeneca, and orders or provisional contracts that seem to have been ripped apart. That delayed some of the vaccines. Then, of course, we had a pretty outlandish statement from the French President Emmanuel Macron about the AstraZeneca vaccine that spilled some vaccine hesitancy. So it's been rather slow with the uptick there. I believe vaccine hesitancy is still a major issue on that continent. Going back to the UK, Britain was one of the first countries in Europe to fully open its doors in the summer. So during the summer months when lots of Europe was still locked down, Britain was out, we did see a huge peak in the number of positive infections, but most people were spending time outdoors. And we know from the guidance from the World Health Organization is that COVID-19 is less likely to be spread when you're in an outdoor environment. So even though, yes, we may not have some of the high hospitalizations, high death rates that we're seeing in Europe, they're still pretty bad here. I've got the latest figure for the Office for National Statistics showing that in the last 24 hours, there are 165 deaths, 42,484 positive cases in the UK. We've been over this 40,000 mark for such a long time. Britain does have the highest death rate of COVID in Europe, still has that high death rate, one of the highest death rates in the world. But it does appear as if some people have become so immune to that here in Britain because we've had these high death rates for such a long time.
And, you know, it's quite ironic then that some are actually projecting that the UK might be first to go from pandemic to endemic. I wonder, how is this even a consideration?
I'm not sure who's considering that, Kaido. That's certainly not the news lines coming out of the UK. But, of course, you know, going back to the successful vaccination rollout, I think that's probably one of the only successes the British government can talk about. 9 in 10 people over the age of 12 have received 2 vaccines. About 80% of people have received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. 15 million booster vaccinations have been rolled out. So this is your 3rd shot of either one of the vaccines that are available here in the UK. So it's a good rate. Of course, there was a little bit of controversy about children in school being offered a jab, but it does appear as if the uptick is, you know, is being taken up. So people are following the government guidelines. I've got to say, anybody in the UK, especially our viewers in the UK, you will start to see now that if you're being invited to an event and it is in a closed space, people are asking you to take a lateral flow test, which you can take and you can get the results back within 15 minutes or so to make sure you can go into a venue. People are asking people to wear masks when you're in a cinema. So yes, so we're definitely not out of the woods just yet. But I think the fact that we started our vaccination programme so early, and the fact that most British people have taken up the vaccine is paying its dividends, clearly.
You know, it was the Secretary for Education, Nadeem Zahawi, who made that statement that, you know, it might actually be the first country to move from pandemic to endemic. But, Juliana, we're winding down now. It's just about a month to Christmas, and with that comes winter, when experts say flu and COVID spread more easily. So what's it looking like? Because flu and COVID-19 don't go well together.
No, they don't go well together. And of course, Kayode, you'll know that the NHS, particularly at this time of the year, is always under so much strain. There have been millions of pounds, in fact, billions of pounds put into the NHS to make sure there are extra staff to be on hand to be able to help with patients. But yet again, if you go back to the data, even though we are still seeing a rather high number of people testing positive of COVID-19, we're not seeing that many people being hospitalised. There are some experts that are even saying the majority of the deaths that we're seeing in the UK, particularly over the past 2 or 3 months, are from the unvaccinated community, because there are only a few people that aren't vaccinated. It isn't leading to those hospitalisations. So I believe the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, will be crossing his fingers, hoping that we can get through the really cold seasons. I've got to tell you, I don't know if you want to swap places, Kayode, but it's going to snow tomorrow, apparently. So it is going to get very, very cold here in the UK over the next couple of weeks. But hopefully we'll be able to escape those lockdowns that we are seeing across most parts of Europe at the moment.
Don't worry, Juliana, you've got this. Well, thank you so much for that update. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Please stay safe.
Thanks, Kayode. Thank you.